Hey everybody, happy Labor Day. Well, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Sort of maybe you'll get a little insight into how I do some of my research for my videos. Because I'm going to give you a homework assignment, an enjoyable one, for your own research. See, the thing is, to me, that Kamala Harris, Tim Walz interview on CNN was a disaster. I had a good inkling as soon as they cut away when the interview was done. By the way, only 18 minutes, 23 to 25 minutes, some say 27 minutes were edited out. So if what you saw of the 18 minutes, you think that's a disaster, just imagine what was left on the cutting room floor. And we need to see that. But be it as it may, I thought it was a disaster when they cut back to the CNN panel, following the interview. They didn't have to say anything. I could just see from their sad faces, except for maybe Scott Jennings, just how bad the interview went. In fact, David Axelrod, he's not going to say it was a disaster. He says, well, it didn't help her, but it didn't hurt her, or something to that effect, which means it was a disaster. But you know what? I was thinking maybe it's just me. I'm sort of I'll admit I'm not. I don't like Kamala Harris, so maybe it's just my viewpoint that's coloring my viewpoint of just how bad that interview was. So you know what I did? I did what I call the TikTok tell. What I did, and I want you to do this. This is your homework assignment, boys and girls, and it will be on your Blue Book exam. Go to TikTok and just go put in the search on the search engine in TikTok. Just put these words: Kamala, CNN, and interview, and look at the search results for yourself, and you'll see video after video after video of people slamming just how bad Kamala Harris came off in that interview. And that's, TikTok, right? It's like a Gen Z sort of place. It's not my thing. I only go there to do research. But that was the most surprising. That was absolutely confirmed that interview was an absolute disaster for Kamala Harris. And so one thing, though, I did notice, I thought for sure I would see that DNC shield blabbermouth, Harry J. Sasson, right? I didn't see anything. Using those search terms, I didn't see any videos by him. So I thought, maybe I somehow missed it in search. So I went to his channel and looked, and guess what? I didn't see any video. No commentary from Harry J. Sasson, whatever. That's a really strong tell of just how bad that interview was. Because when a paid DNC show like him can't hype it as some sort of great interview, it's bad. But the one thing, though, I do want to show you, it's going to surprise you a little bit. I'm going to show you one video. Somebody who hates Trump, who's a big supporter of Kamala Harris, and yet she hated that interview. What she did is she got mad. This is I forget Marilyn Maxine. Sorry, I had a brain freeze there. Zerlina Maxwell. She apparently used to be on MSNBC. I don't remember her, to be honest with you. And she's currently a host on, I believe, Sirius XM Radio. Anyway, she was furious about that interview. She was furious at CNN because she claimed they asked Kamala, they hit her with Republican talking points. So that shows you how bad the interview was. Somebody that is a big supporter of Kamala, very liberal, obviously, from being on MSNBC before, and she was upset. So that tells you, Zerlina Maxwell, thank you very much. That proves the point. The interview for Kamala was an absolute disaster, and I'll sign off just with her TikTok video of why she was so mad, so angry at CNN for asking questions, even though that I thought they were kind of mostly kind of softball, and she still flubbed it. So take it away, Zerlina. Thank you for proving my point about what a disaster the Kamala Harris interview was.
I completely understand why Kamala Harris doesn't do any mainstream media interviews. If you watch the CNN interview, and again, I just want to preface this by saying this is no personal attack on any specific journalists or any specific network, but I wrote down in my notes every single question that Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz were asked in this interview. Every single question, all but 4 of the questions, were Republican talking points or attacks as the premise of the question. They didn't ask about student debt. They didn't ask about Arlington National Cemetery. They didn't ask about the fact that Donald Trump shared on Truth Social a post basically demeaning the Vice President of the United States and Secretary Hillary Clinton performing a sex act. I mean, like that was the tweet or Truth Social post that he shared. They didn't ask about the fact that she's running against the person who incited the insurrection and attack on the United States Capitol, where the vice president, the sitting vice president at that time, Mike Pence, had to run for his life. They didn't ask why Mike Pence is not endorsing Donald Trump. It's not as if Mike Pence retired. They're not asking her if Donald Trump is a threat to the future of American democracy. They are not asking her whether or not she thinks Donald Trump will concede if he loses the upcoming election, which would be different than in 2020 because, as you recall, he very much did not concede back then. Instead, they're like, why have you changed your position on fracking? And smartly, the vice president took that question and pivoted to talking about climate change, which is the only important topic related to fracking. I really had a hard time. I'm somebody who asks questions for a living, and I try to be gracious when watching other people's interviews. But if we aren't going to ask better questions with like 70 days left, why should the vice president sit down to answer Republican talking points? That is a waste of everyone's time. And then now today, it's like write-ups of the interview, which are like Kamala Harris had to defend her evolution on certain positions. Donald Trump is on the campaign trail talking about Hannibal Lecter. This is why so many people are turning off mainstream media.